Good evening, good evening, good evening. This is a wonderful day. Welcome to just another episode of Just Another Messenger. I am Tamara L. Now, I am quite excited about tonight's event. Let's just have this conversation, right? I'm so excited about tonight for two reasons. Um, last year, this time, it was just a very troubling year for me. You know, Last year this time I met the most broken part of myself. I was introduced to the most broken part of myself last year this time, and I also found the most strongest part of myself around about this time as well. So in doing so, I found that there's a frequency. There's a frequency that's within us called gratitude, acceptance, appreciation. And I took that this entire year of 2024 to operate in that for myself. So I called back the love to myself and gave myself everything that I extended out to so many others. I gave it to myself, and I realized how much I truly, truly, truly loved myself and wanted to grow even further from that. And so this is what also helped birth Just Another Messenger. Um, like I said, I was laying there and I wanted to, typically we would air on Wednesday. And I was like, I know tomorrow is going to be kind of hectic and I didn't want to be stressed out. And I was like, you know what? Let me just do a special episode and come on Tuesday night and just give people some wonderful information just about gratitude, manifestation, and abundance. So that's what we're going to do this evening. Now, this episode of Just Another Messenger, we're going to continue to dive deep into the past. We're going to examine the philosophies, systems, as well as decisions that continue to influence our world today. Keep that in mind. What I like to do at Just Another Messenger, is we all should be doing, is connecting this historical content to the contemporary issues that we're facing and dealing with today. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to aim to spark thought-provoking conversations as well as encourage a deeper understanding of how history impacts current events, culture, as well as social norms. Now, stay tuned, tune in. This is going to be very impactful episode this evening. So stay tuned as we uncover the roots and offer meaningful insights to help you navigate and reflect on the complexities of today with a little bit of humor along the way. I love a little bit of humor along the way. Now, don't forget to click the subscribe button, share and like the comment. It doesn't cost you anything to do that. If you're on this feed on Facebook, please help the channel grow. Subscribe, share, and like button to be a part of the conversation. You do not want to miss Just Another Messenger as we continue to grow. Now, as I said, I love the title for this episode. We're dealing with the Hermetic principles, the number 6 Hermetic principle of cause, effect, and cranberry sauce. I know everybody's ready for that cranberry sauce on Thursday, and we're going to do that by manifesting through gratitude. Now, what we're going to do in this episode, we're going to explore how the Hermetic principle of cause and effect shapes our reality. Yes, it shapes our reality. Now they say, oh, this is pagan. This pagan, like I said, as on this channel, we're going to deal with the etymology of the word. Pagan means first. So yes, we're dealing with the pagan deity of understanding the interworking of man. Okay. Now we're going to discover how cultivating gratitude during Thanksgiving can create powerful ripple effects. Now, very powerful ripple effects in your life, from attracting abundance to deepening personal connections. We're going to be at the smallest, like even if you just say thank you, that is the greatest gesture that you can vibrate out to yourself and anyone else. Now, whether you say thank you or any type of grand gesture, such as cooking, a lot of people are going to be doing a lot of cooking. Let me tell you, that is not going to be an easy task. That is a grand gesture. You have to go out and, fight amongst the others to gather up the food that is needed to be able to properly serve the ones that you love that come into your home, opening up your home to the ones that you love and properly serve them. That is a very grand gesture. And also learn how your actions that you sow, the seeds of transformation. We're going to get into that, sowing these great seeds of transformation as we move forward into another dispensation in our lives. Now, join us. Stay tuned. Stay there as we uncover the magic of manifesting through thankfulness. All right. Now, like I said, I love to provide that information and context for you. Like I said, please, we are growing the channel. As we continue to grow the channel, please help and support. You can support by donating through our Cash App at $ at Just Another Messenger. It's scrolling across the bottom of your screen. You can donate on Cash App at $ at Just Another Messenger. Also, hit that subscribe, like, and share button on YouTube at Just Another Messenger. Let's get those numbers up. Let's get those numbers up. Excited about that. And you can also follow us on X. On JAM, JAM _ 404 podcast, because we are in the Atlanta jurisdiction, 404 podcast. Once again, if you'd like to contact us by email, you can contact us at justanothermessengerpodcast@gmail.com. I also have the domain justanothermessenger.com. I'll be working to build out the website. So excited about that. Like I said, please help the channel grow. And I'm going to keep that link up. Donate. I'd like to thank all the people who have sponsored us thus far. Like I said, this is our 6th episode. Yes, our number 6 episode of Just Another Messenger as we grow. Let me see here we have here. All right. So let me go ahead and add our presentation to the stage for the day. We're going to deal with cause, effect, and cranberry sauce, manifesting through gratitude. All right. Now, disclaimer: the views, opinions, and thoughts are the protective expression of Tamara L. for storytelling and educational purposes, and does not provide statutory counseling for any United States color of law jurisdictional proceedings. But my information helps as well. All right, let's talk about this. Let's talk about now. I like to talk about our native nations that were on the land at the time period before a lot of pilgrims. Pilgrims mean foreigners. So pilgrims does not indicate natives. Pilgrims, the meaning of pilgrim means foreigners. So let's just talk about the autochthonous nations, tribes, clans, and consanguinities that were settled on the land and had their own constitution, culture, folklore. And I love to talk about the Iroquois Confederacy. And the original name is Anishinaabe, the Confederacy. You're not going to see the word Anishinaabe Constitution in like your Google search or the Skydata search. You're not going to see that a lot. You will see the transliterated name of Anishinaabe Confederacy. You're going to see the Iroquois Confederacy. Now, let's talk about this. This was a confederacy that consisted up in the northern, the last British colony area, known today, as like, we're going to say like the New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Massachusetts area. So along that area, you had 6 nations that joined. Now, of that 6 nation, the last nation, which was the Delaware nation, what actually is known as the Delaware nation now. That is like the colonial name that it changed to, but the autochthonous nation of the land was called Lenape, Lenape. All right. So let's look at these 6 nations. Okay, that means a nation has they have constitutions, they have order, folklore, festivals, they have governmental bodies and how they operate, govern the mental of those nations. So in those 6 nations, you had the Seneca nation, you had the Cahuja nation, you had the Onondaga nation, you had the Onondaga nation, Tuscarawas, and you had the Mohawk Nation. And like I said, the last nation was the Lenape Nation. All right. So let's look at that. I like to look at how they dealt with the traditional festivals of the land in the region. Now, keep in mind, all nations had their own way of operating their cultures. I love this nation because it was written down. A lot of nations, it's hard to find the autochthonous culture because a lot of information was burned. It was, destroyed due to colonizations, but this is some information that is preserved to see how those nations operated in their government as well as their society. All right. Let's look at the prayer. I think the prayer is very important to look at and understand. Let's look at this prayer in detail. It say, whenever the Confederate lords shall assemble for the purpose of holding council, the Onondaga lords shall open it by expressing their gratitude to their cousin lords and greeting them, and they shall make an address and offer thanks to the earth where men dwell, to the streams of water, the pools, the streams, and the lakes, to the maize. That was the name for corn. It was called maize. So eat your corn on Thursday. And the fruits, to the medicinal herbs and the trees, to the forest trees for their usefulness, to the animals that serve as food and give their pelts for clothing, to the great winds and the lesser winds, to the thunders, to the sun, the mighty warrior, to the moon, to the messengers of the Creator who reveal their wishes, and to the great Creator who dwells in the heavens above, who gives all things useful to men, and who is the source and the ruler of health and life. Keep in mind, this Constitution did not say a deity. It did not describe a deity. Deities were not a part of the culture of the nations during that time. Deities came about, such as deities in the Western world came about like in the 1500s, the 1600s. We're talking about like the Christian deity of Jesus. That came about during the Western world around about the 1600s. Then you had Islam, you had Allah, Moses, Buddha, Abraham. You had Buddhism, Confucian. That came to the Western world around, like I said, 1600s. So as you can see in the prayer, they gave thanks to nature. They gave thanks to the Creator, the creative force. So we're going to talk, and that's why we're talking about this elements of the vibration. We're talking about the vibration. We're talking about the Hermetic principles. We're going back to the pagan understanding of the creative force of the universe. All right. Now let's look at these festivals here that took place. Now it say the rites and the festivals of each nation shall remain undisturbed and shall continue as before, which means that these things occurred even before those nations were settled. It's letting you know that these festivals and folklores and culture, they were already settled in the land. Now, they were given by the people of old times, even antiquity, older than them. So they're just carrying forth that which already existed and was necessary for the good of men. I know a lot of times you hear a lot of people talk about, different holidays, and they say, oh, that's the YT holiday. I don't celebrate that. That's the YT holiday that is commercialized, but that is the deified operation of that holy day. Keep in mind that it was in a celestial astronomical working before it became a holiday. So in other words, let's just show why it has been detrimental that we have been throwing out the baby with the bathwater, and we have to reclaim that energy source that helps and aid us in our growth, in abundance, in gratitude, in expanding. And so let's look at those things. So it said these things was necessary, right? They was necessary for the good of men. It say, it shall be the duty of the appointed managers of the Thanksgiving festival to do all that is needed for carrying out the duties of the occasions. It say the recognized festivals of Thanksgiving shall be the midwinter Thanksgiving, the maple or sugar making Thanksgiving, the raspberry Thanksgiving, the strawberry Thanksgiving, the corn planting Thanksgiving, the corn hoeing Thanksgiving, the little festival of green corn, the great festival of ripe corn, and the complete Thanksgiving for the harvest. Now that's what we're operating. That's what we're going into right now. We're going into a period where we're going into the complete Thanksgiving of the harvest, because the earth has produced all that we need for the sustainability as she go into her death cycle. The earth is going to start entering into her death cycle within the next 30 days, and she has produced everything that we need for the sustaining of the life into the rebirth of the fruitfulness. So we're going into the complete Thanksgiving of the harvest. I hope everybody, give me a shout out, 111 if you're understanding this message. Talk to me. Let me know that you're here with me and you're feeling this, manifesting this gratitude, because we're gonna have that cranberry sauce on Thursday. Hey, let's look at this even further. Let's look at this war that took place. This war is called the Pequot War. This war occurred from 1636 to 1638. This was a 2-year war that occurred. And during this war, it occurred to where let's take and see what happened. It was called the Mystic Massacre, and it occurred in 1637 on May the 26th. We said May the 26th of 1637, a colonial militia, which means colonial means foreign, a foreign militia aided by other nations, which is the Mohegan. Now I know all of my current New Yorkers, if you go to New York and you go to casino, it's going to say Mohegan Sun. That was a nation, and that tribe still exists. Now, these nations, the Mohegan Nation and the Nazarite they allied with the colonial militia, and they went in and they attacked the Peacock villages at Mystic, which is a present-day Connecticut. All right? Present-day Connecticut. Now, the village was set ablaze, and between 400 and 700 Peacock men, women, and children were killed. Many burned alive or slaughtered as they fled. This act effectively destroyed the Peacock as a powerful tribe in the region. It said a powerful tribe in the region, which means they had something worth coming for. People just don't go after people that don't have anything to go for it. But let's keep this in mind. This was a warring autonomous nations, two of them, the Mohegan and the Nazarite. They allied with a foreign militia, and they went in and attacked this other autonomous nation of the land for their resources. This did not occur on Thanksgiving. That has been the vibration of what has been taught in the educational school, in the Western educational school system, that there was a nation, a tribe that was having Thanksgiving, and they were attacked on Thanksgiving, and this created a vibration of suffering and not to celebrate and honor or give honor to the harvest. So a lot of people, they have taken that story that was been given in bad contents and created a vibration, and then now you have people that vibrate and not giving thanks and homage to the creative force of the harvest that gives to you each and every year for your sustainability of life. So let's look at it like that. All right. Now let's look at this connection. What is that connection to Thanksgiving? Some historical accounts suggest that following this massacre, colonial leaders held a day of Thanksgiving to celebrate their victory over the Peacock. This had led to the notion that Thanksgiving is partly rooted in the cellular celebration of violence against indigenous people. Now, as I said, this did not occur on Thanksgiving. This occurred on May the 26th, 1637. So that's been a well settled lie that has vibrated through the educational school system and through people's lives, that this occurred on Thanksgiving, and that's why you shouldn't be celebrating Thanksgiving. So now you're not giving thanks, and we're going to talk about that. So now you are in violation of a natural law of rhythm and frequency and vibration, because you're not giving thanks to what has given thanks to you and has fed you, because you say, oh, I'm not going to celebrate giving thanks and Thanksgiving to the earth that has fed me for 8 months. It still will feed you through its death cycle. You will still be able to eat the harvest. All right. So let's look at that. Now, it is very important to note that this event occurred decades before, decades before the widely romanticized first Thanksgiving at Plymouth in 1621. All right. This event occurred decades before that even happened. All right. Now, let's look at the critical reflection of this. Understanding events like the Peacock Massacre challenged us to reconsider the historical narratives we celebrate and the need for an honest reckoning with the past. We must have an honest reckoning with the past to see how we continue to violate as well. And when there's a violation of natural law, there's a karmic effect of that, in which you say you will continue to perish. Now let's look at the etymology of the word perish. The etymology of the word perish does not mean to die. Let's go ahead and go to church. The etymology of the word perish does not mean to die. The etymology of the word perish means that you will go through. I'm going to drink on that. You will continue to go through. You will continue in your suffering for violating natural law. Let me tell you something about natural law. Natural law doesn't need your permission. You can either respect gravity or don't respect gravity. You can respect the wind or don't respect the wind. You know, you doesn't have any respect for the wind, but the wind is going to blow, the water is going to roll, you know, the earth is going to be in its stillfulness, and you know, the ether is going to have its place, you know, so that will continue to occur with or without your permission. So, all right, let's look at some of these things. Let's look at the Hermetic philosophy and the 7 Hermetic principles. Let's look at that. Let's look at these things. Let's continue to look and see how we can stop violating the natural law, these natural laws, and how we can come out of this suffering, how we can stop allowing ourselves to be tricked into low vibrations that continue to plague us. And then we as a people is keep singing these hymns. Yeah, you're right. Truth. Nature is a dictator. Nature is a dictator, and nature is going to dictate, and nature is going to rule. So let's look and see how we can harmonize with source, and we can come out of this suffering, because these Negro hymns, as you can see, hadn't gotten us anywhere, because we are in violation of the laws that we are to be in service to and in connection with. Let's look at that. Yeah, nature is a dictator, most definitely. Hermetic philosophy. Now, the 3 parts of the wisdom of the whole universe is a phrase derived from the Emerald Tablet, referring to the 3 disciples of Hermeticism. Hermetic practices are diverse and deeply rooted in the esoteric traditions of alchemy, astrology, and theology, and other occult disciplines. Now, these practices are not merely rituals, but are aimed at achieving spiritual transformations, aligning the practitioner with the divine order, and unlocking hidden knowledge about self. a knowledge about self in the cosmos. Ooh. Now let me tell you one thing, alchemy. People are like, oh, this is witchcraft. Yes, witchcraft of the wise. Witchcraft, the etymology of witchcraft is wisdom, wise craft, the craft of the wise. You practice alchemy every day in your kitchen. If not, your food wouldn't taste right. It'll be nasty and nobody will eat it. You participate in astrology every day. As soon as you get on your phone and say, what time is it? You operate in astrology. That is the aspects of the cosmos and their placements. Mm-hmm. Thelargy. You opt thelargy. That word always tongue twister. Thelargy. You operate in authority every day. I'm talking to my Christians every day when you say, thank you, Jesus. You invoking incantation of an unseen spirit force. You're invoking that. When you say, this, I'm not sure if anyone just watched this recent movie, the piano lesson. And in this movie, I want to talk about this real quick before we get into this, because this is what I love about thelargy, because a lot of people, they get it confused. I thought what was the most riveting part about the movie, the piano lesson, and I hope I'm not giving a spoiler alert, but if I am, just rewind, you know what I'm saying? But here's the spoiler alert. There was a spirit that was infused into this piano through suffering, right? And in doing so, the brother wanted to take this piano and just get rid of it. He felt like it brought so much pain and suffering to his parents. His father got killed over this piano. The mother, she suffered I mean, she wept and suffered through the father's death, and she just gave up on life because of this piano. And the brother felt like this piano just has brought so much hurt and pain to the family, right? And he just wanted to sell it so he can buy some land and grow and become a basically a farmer, just as his father taught him. This is what he wanted to do with his portion of the money by selling the piano. So in his attempt to try to remove the piano from the sister house, there was a spirit that had came forward and wanted to battle and basically kill the brother, because it was on the assumption that the brother had just took someone's life. And so at the time when the brother tried to remove the piano from the house, and they was trying to do what you call the exorcism on the piano. And the guy kept calling forth Jesus to remove that spirit from the piano. And that spirit was fighting the brother, and the spirit was about to kill the brother, take the brother out. I mean, it was choking the brother to death. And the sister got on the piano and she started calling forth the ancestors, the Lord, calling forth ancestral connection, because this is what you're going to see and understand in the pagan studies of Hermeticism. There's no such thing as death. We all are energy in motion, right? So the sister started calling forth these energy sources for the protection and for guidance and for help. And boy, those ancestors came and they went to work. So when whatever deity that you subscribe to, Jesus, Allah, Moses, the Buddha, even your ancestors, and you call forth these entities and deities for your help and your guide, that is the thelargy. So, let's get into understanding the connection that we already have within us, the energy source that we have that we must connect back to. To keep in mind, she had to connect back to the root in the energy for her help and strength to even come forth to help them. So I just wanted to talk about that. All right. Now let's look at these 7 hermetic principles. All right. I hope you can see that. Let's look at these 7 hermetic principles. Now let's talk about the principles of mentalism. Now, the principle of mentalism deals with the all is mind and the universe is mental. Now, that one is like a great one. It's like whatever you think about, you bring about. Whatever you think about, you bring about. You think about good things, you're going to bring about good things. You think about bad things, you're going to bring about bad things. That's how it doesn't have to come from your tongue. That's how powerful is the mind is. And I can even recall a Bible verse where it talk about the mind could be deceitfully wicked. Who could know it? Who could know it? It's not about watching what you say. It's about watching what you think. What you think about, you bring about. You create the world that you desire to live in, you desire to operate in. You create that world. Like I said, last year, about this time, I had just turned 50. And there was a lot of things that was very upsetting. And I had, as I said earlier, I had found the most broken part of myself. And I had found the most strongest part of myself in doing so and in doing the work. The mind is so powerful, it will bring you out of anything, anything, any and everything. Let's look at the second principle, the principle of vibration. Nothing rests, everything moves, everything vibrates. Number two, the principle of vibration. Nothing rests. So when people, one of the things that I always find disturbing, I don't know. I always find this word. I know. I'm not advertising for him. I wish he would give me some money, 50. But I love vitamin water. I love it. Now, one of the words that just really drives me bonkers. Rest in peace. That word takes me out. And then when people say sleep in peace, that's another one. Rest in peace and sleep. There's no such thing. I always felt like that was just like the most asinine, craziest statement that we can, like, where did this come from? Like, where do we get this from? Like, you die every second, every moment is a death, and death is like a transformation. Even when the physical body, it transforms into another state. It may be in a state that you may not be able to interact with it physical to physical. But keep in mind, there's always an interaction with any energy source that you've ever came in contact with and you have never came in contact with. I have always felt the presence and the connection of a grandmother that I've never touched hands with. I've never hugged. I've always felt her connection. You know why? Because her blood source flows through me by way of my mother. I know my grandmother's mother because her blood flows through my grandmother. So you always will have that connection because the blood source of that never rests. It continues to flow through you. And even like people would always ask me, like, how many children do you have? And I would always say 10. They were like, dang, you got 10 children. You don't look here. You have to. No, my sisters. My sister children are my sisters, are my children, because they have the same blood source in them that I have in me. So they are my children as well, and I treat them as such. I treat my nephews. Dang, we don't have any girls. I treat my nephews, all 10 of them, as my children, as if I gave birth to them, because they have the blood in them that I have in me. That's why it say that the principle of vibration, nothing rests, everything moves, everything vibrates. Get that, catch that. Number 3, the principle of correspondence. As above, so below. As below, so above. As within, so without. As without, so within. That's corresponding creation of what you're manifesting. From the unseen to the scene. You know what I'm saying? That is manifest destiny. That is your manifest destiny. When they say, oh, you can create something in 21 days, uh-uh. It don't take 21 days. It can be done suddenly, just in the mind. In the mind. That's how powerful, and that's how much energy is always moving in motion, in rapid motion. It doesn't take 21 days of journaling. It doesn't take it take a second for your mind to say it's so, and it is so. That's all. That's why I love the great Gil Scott Heron say the revolution will not be televised. You can't see the working of the mind. That's the revolution. It's the revolution of the mind. I'm telling you, this is gonna be lit tonight. All right. The principle of polarity. Everything is dual and has poles of opposites. Opposites are identical in nature, but different in degree. Get that? The principle of polarity. Everything is dual and has its poles of opposites. Opposites are identical in nature, but different in degree. I like to equate this. Let's talk about this one for a second. Like, for instance, my sun sign, right? I like to talk about my sun sign. My sun sign is a Libra. I'm a Libra sun, and that's why I said this Hermetic principle deals with astrology, alchemy, and liturgy, right? All right. So my sun sign is a Libra. My moon sign is a Virgo, which is my emotions. All right. Your sun, your risen sign, that's when you come from your south node and you elevate and you start operating into your sun sign. But when you lay down, when your mother lay you down from her womb onto this 3D dimension, when your mother pulls you from a dimension higher above and bring you into this third dimension through the portal of her womb and lay you down into the third dimension, it's called your ascendant sign. My ascendant sign is a Sagittarius. All right. How do you know that, Tamara? You can just Google cafe astrology, right? Cafe astrology. You can put in, it's free. You can freely do this. You can put in the day the day of your birth, the month, the day, the year. You can put the time in, and you'll put in the AM or PM meridian, whichever meridian. The meridian deals with the horizon. Whatever meridian that you was in, were you laid down in the AM of the meridian or the PM of the meridian? You put that information in. Mine was 11 a.m. Then you put the city and state. Now the city and state. This is what we talk about when we talk about astrology. The city and state. On the back end of the city and state, you need to start learning your latitude and longitude. Because guess what? This is the information that was taken out of the GED, the General Education Board. You know, this is what was taken out of schools. Learning how and understanding the longitude and latitude. The longitude and latitude is very important because guess what? Your GPS in your system are these solar systems that is mathematically programmed based off the longitude and latitude and the sign placements that help guide you to where you need to go. Just say that goes out, right? It's very important to have your compass. It's very important to have your compass to help that you can read. You know how to read it to help continue to guide you along the way until you learn about how the stars can also navigate you, how the North Star can navigate you, and the different stars that takes place during certain periods of time period. Learn about Ceres, the star series, and learn about the different stars, the major star, minor stars, and the major stars. Not getting all into that today. But let me tell you, that stuff get deep and it helps you to know thyself. It really, really, really helps you to understand yourself in a deeper level to where when something shake you, it don't break you. Let's get into it. All right. The principle of rhythm. Now, everything flows out and in. Everything has its tides. All things rise and fall. The pendulum swings. Now, people like, oh, is that karma? Uh, yes, and yes, and yes. Karma could be good karma, a karma could be ancestral karma. Like a lot of things that we're dealing with in this society is ancestral trauma, karma. It some things it doesn't have anything to do with what you may have done right or wrong. When I say right or wrong, we're talking about deeds. Deeds, the etymology of deeds is your action. A lot of things may not be based off your deeds. A lot of things could be done off the deeds of your ancestor. And those are ancestral karma that still goes through the bloodline and even through the society. For instance, certain things that you worship. Mm, you ain't heard me say that. And you wonder why some you say, well, how could some people be a favorite people? Because they understand the frequencies and the vibrations, the polarity, they understand the science, and they say, "Oh, that's a cult. A cult just means hidden. It's not hidden anymore. So what's the problem? We got to get into it. We got to get attuned. We got to get in alignment. We need a tune up. You need a reboot because we got too many viruses up in us. Yeah, we need a reboot. So a lot of times, things happen because of certain things that are being worshiped, such as money, certain deities, people, places, things that can create karmic debt. That can create karma. That can create the pendulum's flow. And sometimes some people have to go to what you call spiritual cord cutting, where you have to create a ritual to cut that out of your bloodline that's no longer serving you, and so it doesn't continue to flow and continue to flowing through your blood cycle line. It's called a silver cord connection. You have to cut those things. I went through several rituals and events where I had to cut certain rituals and things out of my blood cycles. And that was alcohol. There's a spirit of alcoholism that runs through a certain portion of my bloodline. And I can recall operating when I was younger, years ago. I'm gonna say over 35 years ago, being in that space where I was starting to taste and enjoy um alcohol. But I didn't realize that that was a silver cord connection that was coming through, that was trying to come through. And I remember this distinct, we used to have this event in Atlanta called Freak Meet. And I remember this particular weekend. I mean, when I say, baby, can nobody ever party harder than Tamara? Because my favorite song was, ooh, let me tell you. So I remember this particular Friday night, went out, it was Club 112 up in Buckhead. And I mean, partied till the street lights came back on. And I remember waking up, and when I woke up, I was a wreck. When I tell you I was a wreck, I was a wreck. And I remember my mom called me. And, back then we had house phones, right? Telling my age. We had house phones. And my mom called me and she was like, you don't sound so well. And I was like, oh, groggy, trying to get myself together. I just got home, been out. She said, all right now, that alcoholism run on that side of the family. And that thing just shook me. I'm telling you, when I say it shook me, it shook me. And that right, the way it was said, it just sobered me up. And from that point on, I start being very mindful of that. And then when I started learning about that, I had to do the work to cut that taste, to cut that from me so it doesn't continue to attach through me like that. So that's what the rhythm, that's what the rhythm can do. The principle of the rhythm can do that. Now, the principle of cause and effect, and this one is very important because I'm gonna skip number 6 because that's what this night episode is about, number 6. So let's do number 7, the principle of gender. Gender is in everything. Everything has its masculine and feminine principle. So this new wave of vibrations talking about this 128 genders, that is a violation of natural law. All right. So the principle of gender is in everything. Everything has its masculine and feminine principle. It's a masculine and feminine. So, a lot of time when they say, some guys can be, they can have a feminine nature quality to them, or they can exercise. Now, keep in mind that masculine quality deals with logic. Masculine quality deals with logic. So a lot of times when you see a male, I didn't say man, I said male. When you see a male not operating in logic, he's operating too much in his emotional feminine side. Now, are all women feminine only? No, it say we're both. Gender is both feminine and masculine. So we're both. And it just, which side you have to keep balance. You must have balance of both. You must have balance of your emotion, and you must have balance of logic. You can't be like I'm saying, I'm a Libra. You can't be, teeter and tottering, it's like when you know better, you must do better. You must. Are you going to keep violating nature's law? And in your keep violating nature's law, you're going to continue to perish. You're going to continue to go through what you're going through. It's that simple. Man, it came to me. It's that simple. And I'm telling you, that's what I said. Last year was the most, I was introduced to the most broken part of myself, and I was introduced to the most strongest part of myself. Let's get into the principle of cause and effect. Every cause has its effect, and every effect has its cause. Everything happens according to law. It didn't say everything happens according to statute, codes, and ordinance. It say everything happens according to law. What you mean, Tamara? I've been trying to tell you that is a higher law than any law, and that's nature's law. Can't trump nature's law. Period. Explanation point. You can put a comma out there too. You can't trump nature's law. It's not happening. Never will. It's chaotic. It's fluid. It's harmonic. You can't trump it. You can't beat it. Nothing. Let's look at how the cause and effect in Thanksgiving. Now, understanding cause and effect, every action has a reaction, and giving thanks generates positivity and abundance. Thanksgiving traditions such as sharing meals, expressing gratitude, create collective joy and harmony. Examples of cause and effect in Thanksgiving. Now let's look at I'm only going to touch on one negative vibration because I want this manifestation of gratitude. I want Thursday to be, I want to send out the spirit of Thanksgiving to each and every one who's listening to the sound of my voice, to start operating in a spirit of abundance and gratitude, and watch how your life is changed, exceedingly changed. Now let's look at how the pilgrims, like I said, the word pilgrims mean foreigners, how the pilgrims get gratitude after the war, they was grateful for winning that war. They was grateful for being able to go in and survive, because they didn't know if they could survive war, but they went in and they went to war against another nation. They was grateful and gratitude they survived after the war. And war established a tradition of suffering for the natives, thus creating this harmony and joy. So the pilgrims was grateful, but the natives was taught, and the indigenous people was taught about suffering, which creates disharmony of the joy, of which the true aspects of Thanksgiving is Thanksgiving to the natural rhythm of harmony of the harvest being for your sustainability. So that created a negative vibration. All right. Now let's look at some personal stories. Now, how expressing gratitude during Thanksgiving impact family dynamics and emotional well-being. Now, that is something to look at on Thursday. Let's look at some personal stories. Talk to each other. I know that what on Thanksgiving, what we normally do when we're at the table and we're giving thanks for the harvest that's laid before us, everyone go around and say what they're thankful for. That's one of the traditions that's been invoked from the matriarch and down to current day. It's done every year. Every year, each and every one, from the oldest one down to the littlest one, the little baby that can talk, and even the one that just scream out. You know what I'm saying? That's a vibration of joy. Just when you hear that beautiful scream, of a baby voice, that's thanks. They're thankful. They're thankful for their life. You know what I'm saying? So that's one of the things that is one of our personal stories, that we give thanks, for our entire yearly journey. Now, yeah, that's one of the things we do. So, all right. Manifestation through gratitude. Gratitude acts as a cause. The effects of it is abundance and fulfillment. That is the effect of gratitude. It will bring about abundance and fulfillment. Now, now we can discuss some simple actions like thanking someone, and the long-term effects they have on our relationship and mental health. Um, I like to give thanks a lot, even in good times and bad times. I don't harbor any ill will or resentment against anyone. I appreciate all the lessons I've been through in this dispensation. And if my avatar is called forward today, I'm thankful and grateful for the journey, because the journey continue. So I'm always in the space of gratitude. I'm always in the space of gratitude. Now, this is how the cause and effect and Thanksgiving for, like I said, just being thankful, just to be thankful is enough. Don't focus on what you don't have. Never give weight to what you could have, what you should have. Operate in a current state of thanksgiving. Operate in a current state of gratitude. Operate in a current state of understanding. Because remember, all is mind, and the mind is so powerful that that thing can just change in a second. And it should, so more to be. All right. Now, let's look how we can apply the Hermetic principle to Thanksgiving. We can apply it through mentalism. Set a mental intention for gratitude before the holiday. We're doing that today. We are setting the tone. We are setting the mental intention for gratitude before we kick off this holiday season. Let's do that. Correspondence. Using Thanksgiving as a metaphor for the universal principle of giving and receiving. That's that ebb and flow. That's the ebb and flow. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's do that. You know, let's use this Thanksgiving for that universal principle of giving and receiving. What you give out will come back. That's that pendulum. That's that pendulum swing. You give out good love, you give out thanks, you give out harmonic frequency, that vibrates right back to you. It vibrates right back. Vibration. Practice gratitude journaling, a mindful moments to raise personal energy. Let's get those vibrations up and it's up and it's up and it's stuck. All right. Now, polarity and rhythm. Acknowledge hardships while celebrating abundance, honoring the cycle of life. Like I said, last year was very tough for me. It was very difficult for me to even think about giving thanks, but I did it. I did it. I did it. Like I said, I was operating not only in the most, I was operating in not only the most broken part of myself, but I was also knew I found the most strongest part of myself, which means that it was a war going on. But at the same time that war was going on, I was giving thanks because I know that I was coming through it because I said I was, and I knew it. And you can too. All right, gender. Balance giving thanks with receiving joy during the holiday celebration. Practice that. Practice giving, hey, giving thanks with receiving joy. Let's do that. Now, cornucopia. 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 The horn filled with plenty. Cornucopia is from the Latin term corna, meaning horn, and copia, meaning plenty. So the horn is filled with plenty. I know that the tables are going to be filled with plenty of harvest. A lot of homes are currently filled with plenty of harvest. A lot of people went to the grocery store. I was at the grocery store earlier. So yeah, it's filled. The horn is filled with plenty. I have plenty to be thankful for. Plenty. Be thankful. Be thankful. Approach this Thanksgiving with the hermetic mindset, seeing it as an opportunity to align your gratitude with the universal laws. Because keep in mind, like Truth said, nature is a dictator. Align with it. Align with the harmonic mindset. Also, have a reflective question. What ripple effects will your gratitude create this Thanksgiving? I know I am so excited about today, tomorrow, and the days ahead. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I wake up in joy. I'm so excited. I'm just so excited. And you should be too. You should be very excited about that. And I just hope you receive this information. I hope you receive this information, the cause and effect, and cranberry sauce manifesting through gratitude. I hope that you're very excited about this holy day. It's not a holy holiday, it is a holy day. Hope you're excited about this holy day of harvest that is approaching us. Like I said, let's do this. I'm gonna go ahead and give out. If you have enjoyed this broadcast and you continue to enjoy these broadcasts coming up, please donate on Cash App. Please support. The Cash App link has been strolling across the bottom. You can donate at Cash App at $ just another messenger. Please like, subscribe, and share as we continue to grow on YouTube at Just Another Messenger. All right. And we're also on X. You will also see us on X. Follow us on X at JM_404 podcast. If you'd like to reach us by email, you can reach us by email at justanothermessenger@gmail.com. Now, I enjoyed this. Tomorrow, we will not be going live because I will be preparing to get ready for this wonderful day of harvest and abundance because cornucopia, the horn is plenty. And I thank you for tuning in. Keep in mind that we will come back broadcasting next Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I have a wonderful lineup that's coming forward. I'm telling you, stay tuned to Just Another Message as we bring forth not only the historical contents of nature, we're going to connect that to current issues and events to help unlock, unfold, and reconnect back to that which has served us. I thank you for tuning in and have a good evening. And cornucopia, enjoy your holy day.